everybody, and welcome to another episode of On the Back Hash. Talk about things in the pageantry arts world. My name is Cedric, and joining with me today is William, Zach, Chris, and our special guest for this week, Mr. Lincoln Rowe.
Hey, guys.
Oh, snap.
What up?
Lincoln is a good friend of mine and Will's, and I guess Chris and Zach. I guess he's a friend. But...
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Band director, and he's got a lot of things going on. So we're going to kind of talk to him about some of the stuff that he's involved in and what he's doing, and then just kind of his thoughts on some things in the WGI world. He does some stuff for his Winds groups. Of course, I do stuff for percussion and stuff. So we have conversations a lot about things happening in WGI, and we'll probably share some of those thoughts today about maybe how to get a program started and things of that nature. So, but kind of before we get into that, how's everybody doing?
Good.
It's wet and cold.
Wet and cold. It's cold here.
It was trying to rain a second ago.
I know y'all better keep that snow down there, though. I don't want none of it.
Yeah.
You live in the...
It ain't the point. I know where I came to.
But you live in a world where it's like you guys have adapted to it. Like, you know what to do. Like, down here.
Oh, I've been having it.
And we're like, whoa.
No, I'm probably more adapted than they are because I lived in the South and had to deal with it. See, people up here, they don't seem to understand because the South has to deal with ice underneath the snow. So snow lasts longer down there in the South. So up here, I've told people it can snow literally up to your knees and be gone by 12 o'clock. Because it's just fluff. Even when they clear the roads, it'll be gone by the end of that day. Especially if the sun comes out. Now, further north, they'll have the most issues. But anybody from midway down, the snow don't last. So it is. I've told people before, it's by far worse down in the South weather-wise than it is up here.
Man.
Rain and all.
People panic by milk and eggs and bread.
Yeah.
They got to make that French toast.
That's my favorite King of the Hill episode. You guys seen the episode where it's flurries in Texas and everyone starts freaking out and Hank is in the car with Peggy and it's like literally like spit. She's like, Hank, don't be a hero. And it's like nothing going on. It's like one of my favorite clips from that show.
I remember when I was in Texas and it snowed, and it shocked me. I was just like, I mean, it didn't freak me out that it was snowing. It would freak me out when it was snowing in Texas. And I was just like, is it supposed to do that here? I was like, But you said, everybody was like freaking out because like, oh my God. I was like, God, this is
like, was it last year where it snowed on the beach?
Yes.
I was like, these things don't go together.
See?
Is this sand or beach or I don't know. Snow. So confused.
I'm trying to tell y'all.
So, Lincoln, you going to Midwest this year?
Nah, man, we're gonna take the year off, but we love Elizabeth loves it. Like that's her like Christmas. She loves going to Chicago during the winter, and I like going because it's just it's the band thing to go and do, and it's a great thing, man. If anybody gets an opportunity, you should go at least once in your career. It's And go with no preconceived notions and like leave your excuses at home. Like everybody has things that they all have to overcome, to reach excellence. They might be different than what yours are, but it's definitely an inspiring thing. The one thing that I really, the only downside to Midwest is that like you go up there and you get all jacked up and then you come back and you have to wait like another week to teach your kids, like you come back from it and you're like, man, I want to change the world. Then there's like another 7 days. So, yeah.
I was in a meeting right before this podcast, and there was some of them talking about heading to Midwest, and it's like, I do need to go. I just hate to miss school, but I'm at that point now where it's just like, I need to go to Midwest at least once. I need to start going to PASIC.
Word. I'm about to say there's a lot of things you just need to try to do.
Yeah.
They're like literally back to back almost, right? PASIC and Midwest, so. Because PASIC just happened, didn't it?
Well, PASIC's the same weekend as BOA championships.
Okay, all right, gotcha.
And then Midwest is usually our last week of the semester.
Yeah.
So which I would have to miss like the last 3 or 4 days that week. Which, I have the days.
Right.
Yeah. You definitely probably do. Smoke them if you got them.
Seth could probably retire now on sick
his-
days alone. Like, I think he's got enough to reach 27.
Technically,
Yeah.
if I used my days, I could retire in 5.5 years or 4.5 years. Like right now, I'm sitting at 1.5 years worth of sick days. I have 270, I think. 260. Let's say 260.
I've got 40. That's like, I've got that at least.
You also have children.
I had 2 kids. Well, I had one during school, so I didn't have them. I was there, but
You played your part.
You helped.
I did something. Yeah.
And say Zach's going on vacations all the time. What you got?
I'm too broke to vacation now. Vacation is my recliner in the living room.
Dude, I was looking
That
at
driveway.
Those are great ones.
I'll go over to Chris's house.
There you go.
I was looking at tickets. The Western made the New Orleans Bowl, if people don't know, but I was looking at tickets to go down there. Nope. It's like leaving on a Monday, coming back on a Wednesday because they play on Tuesday. That it's like $500 round trip.
I got Southwest points. I can get down there, but I can't do anything once I'm there.
Yeah, so
I'm like, all right, I'm here.
Dude, you could
Nowhere-
drive it.
Nowhere to stay, nowhere to eat, nothing to eat with. Yeah, just vibing.
The problem is you got to go through. If I remember right, do you have to go through? No, I think you go through Alabama, so it should be okay. I've done that drive before to New Orleans. It's not bad, but I'm at that point in my life where, like,
Right.
Give me
if I can fly it, I'm going to fly it.
Did y'all fly to Florida?
Do what?
Did y'all fly to Florida?
When?
When y'all went
Fall
to
break.
Disney?
Disney? Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's why we had no points left. So.
But yeah.
I drove to Miami. That was that was
I rode a charter bus to Miami.
jeez, man.
That's different.
It was worse.
I was about to say, that sounds worse.
It was worse. And
We
then
got
I
to-
said I would never do it again. And then the next year, we got the Boca Raton Bowl. I didn't even march the year. Hey, we got a spot if you want to go. Yeah, I'll go. Marched a flute hole in the back of the. I was like, why am I all the way back here? I can't even hear the front ensemble. We're so far back. I was like, no wonder y'all suck back here.
So were you
Can't
on the back
see.
hash?
I was
Literally.
behind the back hash. Just,
He was in the visiting team locker room. Is what you
Yeah.
were. That's right.
it was me and Nathaniel were filling the flute holes back there with our trumpets. And we were like, what the hell? We don't belong back here.
It's a different world. The furthest I've gone in a car is to Key West.
That's pretty far.
It's about it was,
So Miami was like a 16-hour drive. So
it's I think at least forward past that or something. It's something.
yeah, I would say. I mean, you're going to the very, very bottom.
No, thank you.
I might have won.
Uh-oh.
Well, you
No.
drove across the country.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Man.
And then one year,
that
a
I do
couple
not want to
years-
do again.
A couple years, we took the group down to Mississippi for a regional.
Hattiesburg.
Hattiesburg. Yeah.
That's pretty. Yeah, that's pretty south.
The Tony Lyman Invitational.
Yeah. I didn't know him then. Now I know him. I wish I had. That's the thing now. It's like I'm meeting all these cool people. I'm like, dang, man. We've crossed paths, but we didn't talk.
Right.
So, well, let's get to know Lincoln a little bit. Lincoln, tell us about you and the things that you do.
All right. Well, I am the band director at Ohio County High School in Beaver Dam, Kentucky, and I've been here since 2012. And before that, I was at Logan County High School as an assistant director, where I met William. And both Cedric and William knew my wife before I knew my wife. And so I actually was pretty pumped whenever I got the Logan job. I was like, I finally get to meet this William dude. So met him, and then I met Cedric, and Elizabeth was like, yeah, I think he and I were in like the 4-H
Yep.
honor band together one year at UK or something. I don't know. But I went to Murray State University, majored in music, obviously, and then I'm a graduate of Callaway County High School over in Murray. And yeah, I've been teaching for 17 years now. And man, that feels crazy, William, because I mean, you were there year one.
bruh.
Like, we got some road miles on us.
I swear.
But yeah, and just, you know, throughout the course of being an educator and all of that, like just the tremendous amount of growth that I've seen in others and that I've seen in myself and in our students. And then, like, we were kind of talking a little bit before the episode and, you know, kind of trying to figure out, like, I have 10 years left. So what are those things that, you know, I feel like there's so much more than just 10 years left to give to this world that we have, this ecosystem of band, and to the students and to the directors. So I've got a few little initiatives planned. Started judging this past year as a member of the Central States Judges Association, and have started a kind of a passion project. And it's really, I mean, totally in the beta stages. I mean, there's a website and there's like some Facebook stuff, but the ADHD band director. And that's kind of just a thing that came out of my own need for just some mental clarity in this world. And I think all of you that are in it and everybody listening could agree that, you know, whenever you are so passionate about something that you do and you put so much of yourself daily into other people's children, that sometimes you neglect your own needs, you know? And I was running up that hill for a while and you know, then all of a sudden just kind of found out, like, hey, there's some, you know, I'm acting this way because of this. I do this because of this. And let's see what the root of that is. So in 2023, I was diagnosed with ADHD, and all the eye rolls out there. I mean, everybody be like, well, no crap, man. Like, we knew that from the minute we met you.
It's like we could have diagnosed.
Yeah. Yeah. We just thought it was the best part about you. Kept you fun and spontaneous. But yeah, man. And so I got diagnosed with that. And then, man, started seeing a therapist. And that was wow, that was a big thing. And just the biggest thing I think I'm proud of through all of that is that I'm just a better man, a better person for my students. And dude, just being able to be, you know, an example for them of, you know, you're going through heavy stuff as a teenager and I'm going through heavy stuff as an adult. You know, it never ends, but it definitely compounds, and you got to get just a little help with that. And it's not that there's anything wrong with you or anything like that. I mean, you are the unique, wonderful individual that those people in your life have fallen in love with. And you don't need to change who you are. You just need to try and find a way to take who you are and make that the best version possible for you, you know? So, yeah. All right. Pull us back out of that one, Cedric. Here we go. Let's bring it back up.
I was going to dig a little bit.
Well, here we go.
He said a mouthful right there.
Let it hunt. Yeah.
I think as especially, I mean, all of us are in some form or capacity music educators, and we've been through it on both sides as a student and as a teacher. And I think sometimes in our profession, we invest so much in others that we do forget to take care of ourselves. And we all have, you know, things as the world is getting more educated about mental health and things like that. You start to notice things like, you know, the older I get, you know, the more I'm just like, I might be on the spectrum a little bit. But I think most musicians are. I think most high level musicians or teachers are on it at some point, just because how they fixate on certain things. You know? Me and you have talked before. Like I have imposter syndrome real bad. Like it's it's a thing, and I'm trying to learn how to work through that and, you know, stay humble, but yet still understand, like, okay, you do know what you're doing sometimes.
Well, but the fact that you can even acknowledge or say that means that you are incredibly self-aware. You know what I mean? And like that you, like, there's no fronting with you. Like you just, yeah, that's the thing with imposter syndrome. If you think you have it, you don't. You know, like it's the people that are out there that, you know, are imposters and that are just doing the thing, but it's like you said, high achievers, people that hold themselves to a high standard. That could be a burden,
Yeah.
you know. And I don't know any other way to live. Like I was a band kid, you know, and we did things till we got it right. You didn't just settle with, you know, halfway or lackluster. Like reset, do it again, you know. And that has benefited all of us, I would say, tremendously in our lives, you know. And then you get into this world where you're now the one that you have to be careful, because you do tend to think that everybody is picking what you do apart.
Mm-hmm.
And man, the biggest shift for me recently has been that the critics come last. Like, do I enjoy what we're creating? Like the years that we've had, you know, we get to the end of our marching band season, and we're just like, man, we're, you know, not happy with the product or not happy with kind of the way that things went. It's because we weren't fully bought into what we were creating. Like we were trying to check boxes or designing. Yeah, we were making our meal for somebody else, not for our own taste, even though we're the ones that we have to eat it every day. You know what I mean? So I think the minute that I stepped out and said, you know, I'm gonna create things that I enjoy and hopefully everybody else will vibe with it, then I think that gave me a lot of peace, and it puts you in there with your students, you know. And the thing is, as long as you sell it hard, and you know, the kids are going to get into whatever you're into. How many kids are listening to Snarky Puppy right now because their band directors are into Snarky Puppy, or you know, insert group here. Yeah, that's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the lot of truth in that. You know, we talk about that a lot with culture, and I know that's a big thing you've been working on at your program, and that's one thing we try to build. You know, at East, we were just, you know, we take our this year's marching band show. I was skeptical. I was like, how are we going to sell a show about chess with the type of music that we're doing,
Right.
to these kids? And you know, but we did, and they bought into it, and they was all about it. And you know, they have, you know, any success that we have had as teachers is because the students wanted to be successful.
Word.
You know, it's never us. We put a play out in front of them, but you know, kids can smell fake a mile away, man. And if they can tell our hearts,
I've been saying that for years.
Yeah,
our hearts not into them, they won't. So
real recognizes real.
yes,
I'm telling you,
for sure.
they can sniff out if you're unsure about yourself or don't know what you're saying or anything of that nature. They may not say it all the time, but they know.
Like I think a big thing too was like we had so much fun, like as a staff. I mean, we're all good friends, and that makes a big difference. But like, we truly enjoyed being around each other and being around those kids. Like, they got way too comfortable, and they were saying some wild stuff, and you're just like, what do you like? You hear it, and you're like, I'm just gonna pretend I didn't hear that, because they're being themselves and they're having a good old time, and we're making this stuff happen. Like, these kids have bought in. They are playing the damn thing. They're doing the damn thing. And like it was like, we got to the end of the season. I was like, man, it's done. Like, and usually, you know, the last couple of weeks, you're like, oh my God, I'm ready for this stuff to be over with. And like, we got done. And I was like, well, I mean, there were days where you know, you kind of hinted on this a little bit too, Lincoln. It's like sometimes we as the adults need those kids more than they need us. And like,
Oh man,
there'll be
yeah.
days where my fifth graders and stuff going on at school is just like, I just had the worst day. And it's like, you know, I could go home and sit and stew on it, but it's like, you know what? I'm going to go down here to this high school where these kids want to see me and want to listen to what I have to say, and just go be around them, and it just made my day so much better.
Yeah.
You know, there are days when, you know, you really need them more than they need you.
But dude, yeah, you're right on it, man. There are days that I'll get on the podium or start a rehearsal and be like, "Hey guys, like here's what's up. Like I've been doing paperwork all day. I've been trying to get this, trying to get this PO, this, that, and the other, working with boosters. I really like most days, guys. I'm here to pick you up, but I need you to pick me up today. Like if you could help me out a little, and just being vulnerable with them and letting them see, and that goes a long way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. When they see you as a human, just like they are, it makes such a big difference. Like,
because whenever we were coming up, Cedric, William, like our band directors were superhuman. Right? Like, and that was just that generation. And then we looked to them as that, like, oh man, like you never miss a day. You never, like it. Yeah. But now, like Cedric touched on, man, like the world's changing around kids and things. And they want you to be real. And they want to know that you're there with them and that you feel with them, as opposed to our guys that, we just all thought were Supermen and like they didn't sleep and, they never left the school and all that,
Yeah, I never forget that. I'm like, you play video games too? What? That's a thing.
Right.
And now it's, that now, but now it's like, you watch anime, like you know what this is. Like, yeah, man. Like,
I connect with the sports kids hard. I'm not the anime guy, but the sports kids. We'll have a full debrief on Monday about like, I've got a kid that's a huge Packers fan, and I'm a Lions fan. And he just like, yeah, dude, he gives me down the road. And I was hoping the Bears would pull one out for me today.
I did too. Oh, they had it, boy.
Yeah, boy.
Oh my God, they had it.
But those things, man, they do mean a lot. I mean, in all different types of kids. I just, randomly, a kid will come up to me like, I'm like, oh, that's a really cool bracelet. And I'm like, yeah, I made it. I'm like, you make those? I'm like, yeah, man, that's awesome. And then, like the next 5 days, hey, I made this thing too, and I did this, and it's just like, all right, cool, I got you. Like,
because they walk around. That a lot of kids, regardless, the kids that you think are popular, the kids that are maybe you think are unpopular, whatever, they walk around kind of faceless in school. I mean, a lot of walking through the hallways, packed hallway, going into a classroom full of 30 people, for their English class. But man, they come to us, and it's like, I just want you to be the creative, unique individual that you are. But just please make sure you're here early and you're at everything you say you'll be at, and we'll be good. Like that's
give
it.
Me your all, I'll give you my all, and we're gonna have a good time.
Amen, dude.
No matter what the end product ends up being. But normally when you do that, the product ends up turning out fine.
Word.
It normally end up coming fine. So cool. I don't know if this is tangential or not, but we're going to talk about it anyway. So, over the past few years, I don't know how many exactly, but you have been getting involved with Music for All a lot.
Yeah.
So, like, tell me about that. Tell me about your involvement with that.
Yeah, man.
Talk about the summer camp and all that stuff.
Yeah, dude. So, yeah, that's where the whole journey for me started. I signed up just kind of out of nowhere, used some money from school to go to the bands. Back then it was the Bands of America Summer Symposium. And they have a director's track, they have a percussion track, marching band track, concert band, jazz band, all that. But the director's track is what I was involved in as a camper the first time. And, like one of the first things I remember was walking down the road and looking over, and there's Greg Bim, like the wizard of Marian Catholic, just sitting there eating lunch, and he's got his AirPods in, and he's not, like Sermon on the Mount type stuff, like people all gathered around him, like he was just by himself. And I was like, okay, so that's the vibe. And the biggest thing that I realized was, whenever you come to the Bands of America summer camp now, nobody cares about how good your band is. They care about the kind of person that you are and the kind of human being that you are. And that was amazing. And so I did the 18, and then in 19, I became a part of the faculty there as a Director's Academy assistant. So there's a incredibly hardworking group of individuals in the background that make sure that everything is working and set up and ready for the presenters and for the directors that are there as part of the camp. And then 2020 happened, right? And then 2021, I went back as a camper. And then this last year, I went back as a camper 21, 22. And then this last summer or whatever, wherever we are in the scape of things, I went back as a assistant again. And from there, it's all just kind of really been an awesome experience with the people at Music for All. I was a part of the Culture Before Content podcast about a year or so ago. And if you're out there listening right now, go check all that out, man. I mean, it is, if you want a professional development that's free and only an hour long, listen to them. Listen to them while you're in the shower, while you're driving, whatever you're doing. Give it a try. And these are some of the best music educators and other people in the ecosystem in the world. And they're just giving this information out for free, because I'll tell you right now, and this is something you can clip and take to the bank. Competition happens at the bottom. Collaboration happens at the top. Okay.
You're right, though, for real with that, because I've noticed as we start to improve, I get more questions about, how do you go about doing this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are you doing to do this? How do you go about this? And I ask those same questions, like, man, how do you get your kids to figure this out? So yeah, that makes complete sense.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the people at the top, like, are not gatekeeping. Like they are. They realize that everybody, students are students, band directors are band directors, and I younger me didn't believe this, and I wish younger me could get a good swift kick in the pants. But everybody's students are important. Everybody, every kid, every student, whether they're at my high school, your high school, some school in the middle of nowhere in Nevada, they need a great music education, because we need more great young people in our world right now. And I think that if our world had a lot more band kids in it, we'd have a pretty awesome place. We'd have some harmony, so to speak. But yeah, so the Music for All thing has been one of the most amazing things. And I'll tell you guys, if you're out there and you're listening, you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to me. We've recently teamed up with the folks at Sweetwater, and they have kind of brought the cost of camp down. So whenever I first went in 2018, it was around $600 to go. And now with Sweetwater, there's some scholarships and things like that, because I think Sweetwater has been inside of it and seen this amazing thing that is the week of summer camp with Bands of America. And they have invested and are trying to get this message out there. We've had several band directors from Kentucky come. Heather DePasquale and Ed Hauser came last year. And Ed Hauser looked at me and he was like, man, like, you can't believe any of the stuff that you tell me about this until you come here. Because it sounds almost like a utopia, so to speak.
Now, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the same show, or not the same show. This is the same camp that happens at the conclusion of it. There's a show that Crown hosts.
Yeah. So there's the DCI tour premiere presented by Yamaha at Ball State University. And then last summer I got to do some trial tapes for that show. So you talk about imposter syndrome, I'm like, good afternoon, Carolina Crown, this is Lincoln Rowe. I'm like, whoa, what kind of fever dream is this, So yeah, and that's the other thing is you get you get great seats at the very top of the stadium on the 50. And whenever I marched drum corps, and I know William did it too, it was at Illinois State University. And we would call it the Bando Commando Show, because those kids, like, you do a horn to the box, and they like freak out and go nuts. But I mean, that's a part of that week, and a part of everything that goes on. Now, one other cool thing that I'll add, this past year, I got to be a part of the leadership weekend that they do. And the leadership weekend is absolutely amazing for band directors to send their young people to, and to bring back some positivity and some great, because a lot of times we say, hey, you're the section leader, and then it's like, well, what do I do? And then we get like upset with them because they do the best that they know how, because that's what all of our students are going to do. They're going to do the best they know how. But, if you send them to camp, you get your boosters to invest that those monetary funds, it's unreal what that brings back to your program. But that was really an impactful thing for me. That was my first year of being involved with the leadership weekend. And, it was absolutely amazing. So if you're a band director and you're out there listening to this, look into it. Sell a couple, extra chocolate bars, or do another car wash or something. But the return on investment from sending your students to that weekend, and then the full week of camp, is it's unmeasurable, the impact that it'll have on the culture of your program.
About how many band directors go to the director?
Man, there's I think we've had as many as 150 to around, right after COVID, it was a little small. But yeah, it's typically, I think at the peak, it was like 150, 160 band directors coming from all over. We had a few years ago, we had 2 guys there from Australia. Like they were a time, man. They were fun. And then that's the other thing too, is like there's nightlife. Like there's at the end of every night, at the end of every day, there's a social event sponsored by DSI, Winger, FJM, or something like that. And you're standing there having a beverage, and you look over and there's Jarrett Lippman or Darren Davis or Kevin Ford. These people that, like you said, Cedric, that we sometimes think are like these, godlike figures. We put them on a pedestal, but they're just dudes, and they're just dealing with the same things that we are, just in a different climate, a different area.
Yeah. I think a lot of where that comes from is sometimes a lot of those folks, I don't want to say a lot of folks, sometimes the illusion of a lot of those folks that are at the top of our profession have a certain stature, I'll just use the word ego about them. But it's a slight loud minority. Not everybody that is successful has that. And as I've gotten older, I realize they're this person's a cool cat, and they're like
right.
They're human, and it's not everybody that's like that. And usually the ones that are like that, they show themselves, and you don't see a lot of people around them.
No, that's what I was about to say.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think sometimes we project our own maybe ego onto other people. Yeah. I can tell you, whenever I was a younger band director, I wasn't asking for help. I was, making all the excuses that everybody makes. Well, if I had what they have, and if blah, 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 and yeah, but I think you're dead on. It's not about egos. It's about kids, and the ones that are worth talking to and worth learning and growing from and having be your mentors. They get that.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Fellas, y'all got any follow-ups? I don't want it to be the me and Lincoln show.
I'm just listening and enjoying it right now, man. Let's keep it going.
So we kind of talked about the BOA stuff. So we can kind of circle back around, I guess, to the WGI stuff. But
yeah,
you've kind of changed, kind of leading into that, you've kind of changed your model at Ohio County about how you kind of wanted to do things with your program. You want to talk on that?
Yeah, man. So coming out of COVID, I had seen a video of Nolensville High School. They're in the kind of Brentwood area. down there near Nashville. And man, they were doing something really hip. And I was like, man, you got to be really bold and really secure in what you're doing and who you are as an educator to do that, especially here in Kentucky, you know? And took me about 3 or 4 years to get the courage to do it. And, you know, I mean, like we were coming off of a very, very good fall of 24. We had a real hit production, had some real talented students that we highlighted, had some successes along the way. But, you know, around April of last year, just felt like something had to give. We had some kids that weren't doing our indoor wins group because they'd already done a competitive fall, winter, fall, winter, fall. And they were like kids that whenever we were in the designing stages that we were like, okay, this kid's going to be a soloist. This kid's going to be this. And they were like, hey, I don't have any gas left. I can't do indoor this year. It's like, oh my goodness. So we decided that we were going to do kind of a competition less model, not non-competitive, but just competition less. And we decided that our outdoor program was going to be more for engagement and entertainment for the football crowd, and that we were going to take some of those resources. You know, we weren't spending $5,000 on props. We weren't spending $6,000 on uniforms. We weren't spending another $6,000 on drill, another $7,000 on music, including rights, to do all that. And we decided, hey, how can we take the resources that we are saving? How can we reinvest that into our students? So we decided, as far as this fall was concerned, we went full blitz with the private lessons faculty. We have people that come in, you know, 1 day a week and do either, mainly they do group lessons during class time, but I tell them, I'm like, hey, you've got a captive audience for 45 minutes. Tell them that you're going to stay after and do private lessons. You know, and then our boosters right now are currently picking up that tab for the students. So we have trumpet, flute, clarinet, trombone, saxophone, and then Jared covers percussion, and then I cover tuba and euphonium stuff. But man, it's been amazing. We had the most students. We had 25 students, which is the most in District 2 make the all district band. So I mean, you know, better ingredients, better pizza, right? And so we did a fall concert for the first time since I've been here because we were doing concert band every day. Like our guard played their instruments every day during class. And I know that's like everybody does it differently, but for us, that was a big shift from kind of how we approach things. I mean, we went from last fall spending every class period, every 50 minutes, basically doing like, you know, playing and step outs and learning choreography and stuff like that. And then rehearsing 3 to 4 days a week and doing a million Saturdays and doing camp days to, you know, hey, we don't have Monday rehearsals anymore. Well, we did accelerator sessions with our beginners at the middle school with that time. So we'd have high schoolers go down and work with the beginners. And we were able to invest all of that time into the all district and all state music. But moving into the winter now, we are going to have a competitive concert class percussion group in A, and just waiting for, you know, East to get bumped, and that'll open up, you know, some room in that world. You know,
I was going to say y'all gonna beat them.
Well, you know, hey, that's not our goal, but iron sharpens iron, and seeing what Cedric, what you've done with your group has definitely, man, it's definitely been a rallying cry for us, you know, of like, hey, look, Cedric's doing it, making it happen, and we're going to call him and we're going to collaborate. We're going to reach out to him, even though we're in the same class. You know, kids are kids, and we want our kids to benefit from his knowledge, and we want your kids to benefit from Jared's knowledge.
I've talked to Jared a couple times already.
Yeah, dude, boy, he's fired up about it. Like, I mean, I'm just turning him on and turning him loose, you know. Sure. And but then we also have our winter guard, which we've had, you know, Stephen Ferguson kind of started our winter guard program here several years ago, and man, I finally feel like we we finally have something that he would be very, very proud of, and I think that's kind of my driver with our guard is that I don't want his work to be lost. So they're doing their thing, and then we have the indoor winds group that we started a couple of years ago, and so yeah, like we talked about the resources and stuff like that. We've really been able to shift that into the winter, and all of our winter groups are voluntary. So if you want to work a job, you want to do this, you want to live a little bit of life, you can do that. So what we end up with our winter groups is we have we have our ride or dies, like they're there with us, and if they're we're running the same set for the 50th time on a Thursday night at 10 o'clock at night. I'll just look down and be like, hey, y'all wanted to be here. Like you chose to be here, and we just got to get this right. But yeah, and to be honest, like I make it sound a whole lot more sexier than what it has been, because it has been very trying and very it's a big change. You look at every other program in the state of Kentucky, with the exception of like Bowling Green, Oldham County, Scott County. We're kind of blazing our own trail here and doing our own thing, and that's been taken. There have been differing opinions on it within our boosters and parents and our community, but I think that as we continue to show them more of the good, I think they'll get more on board with it.
Because it's tough. I mean, because you got all three, right? For
yeah,
indoor.
Dude. Yeah,
you're in all three worlds. And,
yes, sir.
And for one school to achieve that, I think your boosters and your parents and anybody else needs to kind of understand that idea and how that just doesn't come easy with anybody. You got top groups that come from Cali, man. They can't even do it. You know what I mean? Like your major programs other than like Avon.
Yeah.
But for any other groups, these other groups who are still doing like crazy things at the top of the Scholastic World, Open, A or whatever, they're struggling with one group.
Right.
And to hear that y'all can even do that to begin with is a feat that I think your parents and anybody else listening, you got to understand that ain't simple.
Mm-hmm.
No, man, I'm telling you, like I might be the lead instructor for the Winds group, but I am the core director, CEO of all three. So thankfully, my church, our guard rehearses at the church.
See, and that I was about to say, they don't rehearsal space, man.
Yeah,
you got three different groups.
The concert group, that's killer because we have our own percussion like annex at the high school now, and so that's their rehearsal space. The Winds is the only one that gets a little bit crazy. We'll rehearse in the cafeteria, we'll rehearse in our auxiliary gym. So yeah,
because they got to understand, rehearsal space is one thing, but sometimes at some point you kind of want to get your group into a gym.
Yeah.
And just because, even if it's just for one time, and because sometimes it can be a shock when you go to a show. Now you're in the gym, bro. People like Callie, you've been outside.
Right.
That outside sound don't sound nothing like inside.
No, just the listening environment challenges.
Is insane. So hopefully, it's good stuff, man. That's to me, like I was just already impressed because you said you were doing the concert line and you still had the color guard, God rest his soul, Stephen First.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man.
And I knew about the Winds, and I'm sitting here like, bro, all three, bro.
Yeah.
And you think about it because in my head I'm thinking it's like, well, God, I get it. Al Yala and them are all cross Cali on our side, and it's hard to get over all the way. But you think about the stuff that they bring, the products they bring,
yeah,
and they don't even have to. They got a color guard and a percussion. They don't have no Winds line.
No,
I think,
but they have concert. But at the same time,
I think it's just smart because you got to think about too, like that marching band element is gone there. So like you can pour resources into programs like that a little bit easier than if you have a marching season and then you got to turn around and try to field 3 groups. Like I like that model. I think it's really smart. I mean, I think it's something that like, I wish some other programs around Kentucky could kind of try to emulate, especially some smaller groups that, marching season kind of drains their resources a lot more.
Absolutely.
I think that's something that I see groups going out there and, it's like, man, if you could just get them in concert band for 4 months and then, come out there with the winds group, a little bit more intimate setting, I think you'll see bring a little bit more success.
Dude, we're 6 months ahead. Like what we played on our fall concert was what we would typically play on our spring concert, and no, you're right on it, man. And I mean, we have 250 students, 7 through 12 in our program. And yeah, the other benefit that it created was our fall program is now super inclusive. So like, hey, you play soccer, you do volleyball, you do underwater basket weaving. Well,
listen,
I'm not as worried about you missing a rehearsal because I'm not going out Saturday.
Exactly.
So
it's tough.
Yeah, you're still a part of our program and you still get to get all of those great tangential benefits of being a part of our program.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough to find a balance because you got everybody talking about it because it's like you don't want to take away from the marching band aspect of outdoor marching band. But then we want to build this thing that WGINM started with wins and stuff. And you tell these groups, it's like these smaller groups, it's like, man, look, it can get nasty, but it's competitive in this wins thing. Like you're gonna have to really design. You got all those aspects that you still got to go through and everything, and it's gonna be challenging for you, but it could be way more cost efficient if you attend to it, and then you're helping something grow at the same time. So it's crazy because like I said, like you don't want to take for one just so the other can grow or whatnot, but trying to find that balance.
Our kids. I mean, a lot of you guys were at our show for MSBA. I mean, our kids are still doing marching band. It looks different. Sounds.
I was hyped the whole time. I was in there. I was dancing. I was there. So I was all about it.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's the thing that I touched on earlier. Like, create art that you enjoy, that you like first, and then other people will make their mind up on it. And But yeah, we've got 10 kids about to go audition for the All-State Band, and we had 5 kids make the All-State Band last year, and we're excited to see if we can get that number up a little bit more. But, with our private lessons faculty and all of that money that we've been able to kind of redirect to the individual student, not necessarily to the props that, every year at DCI finals, you walk out by the dumpsters in the south parking lot and you'll see props just thrown away.
They're gonna be there.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, or even at Grand Nationals, you'll go out and see groups that are like, well, we ain't taking it home. We're just going to put it over there by the dumpster, and just at a certain point for me, it became kind of a financial issue, being a good steward of our money, and just being a good music educator. Not saying that people that do competitive marching band are not doing what's best for their kids, because I believe that if they believe they are, then I support them. But I just had to take a step back and say, hey, what's best for the people inside the room, not the people outside of the room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's one of those. While just because everybody else does it this way doesn't mean you necessarily have to. You don't want to have to. You don't want to have to teach your kids. You don't want to have to deal with your parents. You have to. You have to figure out what's going to work best for your program. And I've always said one of the other is smart. There's some groups that can pull it off. And have a marching group and a successful wins group too, or indoor program or whatever.
Yeah.
But man, that's a lot of resources. That's a lot of time, and I think people forget that time is a resource.
Yes. Yeah, amen.
It's not It's
Yeah.
not just the monetary part of it. I love our marching band, but I always say it all the time. I'm like, we practice too much. Like we we do a lot, and like because people ask me like, how do you only do indoor twice a week? I was like, I like my house.
Yeah.
I pay for my house, and I want these kids to have lives. And some of them want to work, and if we only go 2 days a week, they can work. If they want to leave for early for church on Wednesday, they can leave for church early on Wednesday. It's like, we will get it done the way we need to get it done. But
At a certain point, you'll get, if you're really trying to do things at a high level, regardless, you'll do things in the time that you give yourself to do them in. So I mean, if you have 3 rehearsals a week, you'll get what you need done in 3 rehearsals. But if you have 2 rehearsals a week, you're also going to find a way to get what you need done. And you need to, like whenever we were designing our show for indoor, we said, hey, we're only going to rehearse 2 to 3 days a week. We're not going to do a whole bunch of camp days, so we need to design this production to be, great for Dayton, to be, Saturday night quality,
Right.
with the amount of time that we have, and then being real about our students, like that's a real gut check too, is like whenever you go through and you have to put like, okay, what level are your trumpets at? Well, I would like to think because I teach them they're advanced, but really they're intermediate. You have to be like,
Boy, Dad.
yeah, they can't, they and you guys have dealt with that on the percussion side of it. Like, they can't do those, flam fives.
At
They
all.
just don't have those skills. So why do we put them in there? Like
At all.
if you can't play those rolls by October, take them out,
That
that
part.
part, it's real. Like as a judge, when I listen to stuff, a lot of times I'm just like, when your design and your writing is not helping putting your kids in a position to be successful.
Yeah.
It's like you better learn how to put the holes to some stuff.
Yeah, and that's not necessarily always coming from a place of malice, like, but I mean, everybody thinks in April, like, oh man, we're gonna have this kid and that kid, and we're gonna have this and that, and then you get to July, and well, that kid moved, and the other kid got put in ALP, and you just clean is what. Clarity leads to communication. Communication leads to effect, and that's what we need. We need clarity. So whatever you put in front of your students, you just need to be able to make sure that they can handle it, and that you can clean it, and create that communication that we need to have clarity behind it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people miss that point, and I used to didn't know what that mean a long time ago. Clarity of intent. That's all the WGI sheets everywhere, and I was like, what do you mean? I know what it's supposed to be. It's like, yeah, because you wrote it and you teach it every day.
Amen.
So it's just like, how do you make the judges understand what you're trying to do? And when I figured that out, I was like, okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
So when that kid's like, I want it to be hard, well, that's fine, that's cool.
You
can play it clean enough to where they understand it.
Yeah, right.
Well,
yeah.
I appreciate the won't, but
yeah. I mean, you have the what and the how on the sheet, and sometimes you can get into a little bit of a pit where the how is outpacing the what, and you've kind of maxed out where you can grow, but you've got to find that, you've got to be able to perform the what at a high enough level that an adjudicator can interpret the what.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's that crazy, like it's just, like the water cycle thing or karma, like that's the what and the how. It's just always kind of churning.
Yeah, we talk about that. We always say they need to be within 2 points of each other.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
If the what is 5 points out in the how, that's a you problem.
Danger, Will Robinson.
If the how is 5 points how better than the what, that's a me problem. So let's try to be within the same area.
Word.
So I think WGL does a really good job with their sheets.
Well, dude, yeah, and we talked a little bit about wins, and man, I'm telling you, like, kind of like I touched on with the Bands of America and Music for All Camp and things like that. The wins ecosystem is really healthy right now, and I think that it's like the high school musical scene. We're all in this together.
right.
That
But
thing.
they're still trying to figure it out. There's no formula yet.
Nope.
Which is good. And I
That's
think
why I've been telling
WGI
everybody to jump in it.
Yeah, dude.
Get you a Wednesday
WGI
group
does a good
for that
job
kind of school.
of that. Where there's no certain thing, you don't have to do this particular type of show to
No.
win.
You just be
If it's
real with
designed well.
yourself and do you. And then that'll get rewarded. Now you still need to do you at a high level,
Yes.
and have excellence within that. But yeah, it's definitely a place where I feel like our creativity and our the way that we like to do things is definitely celebrated in this arena with WGI Wins.
Yeah. So no, they do a lot of good stuff. So we're cool. All right. Before we head off, because we're almost at about an hour.
Oh, we can keep going. Let's run it back.
I know we could.
4-hour long podcast.
You gonna get a 3-parter out of this. We're gonna have an intermission.
People like, let me go get my popcorn.
Yeah. On the back hash, sweet.
There's like we created seasons. How do we?
Yeah. So you did DCI. You marched south.
Yeah, I marched Southwind. I did Southwind in 2005. I actually filled a hole. I went to the DCI Evansville show, and I saw that they had a spot open, and I went to the lot, and they were like, "Yeah, man, meet us in Memphis in a week." And I was like, "What? Okay." So like I go back to Murray and pack all my stuff. Like I just graduated high school, and took like 2 pairs of shorts and a couple shirts and some Powerade and jumped on a bus. But what's really funny is that whenever I got to Memphis, Glassman had a hole too.
Oh,
and they came to me, and I'll never forget the corps director from Southwind like took my bags and was like, "They're going on the bus." And I was like, "Oh, well, I guess
like you are coming with us, not them."
Yeah, man. And I got on the bus that night, and like 6 days later, I was performing the whole show in Louisville at the DCI Louisville show. Yeah, man, it was unreal. And then 2006, I took that summer off to do some college classes and try and get ahead in my degree. And then 2007, I went back to Southwind. And the reason I went back to Southwind was I wanted to be a part of trying to build something rather than already going to something that was established and just being a cog in the wheel. And then one of my really good mentors, Steve Vento, who's now with Blue Devils, was at that time he was an assistant director at Broken Arrow, and he knew that I wanted to be a band director, and he kind of pulled me in and was like, "Hey man, like come back and spend another summer and I'll pour as much as I can into you about how to do this band director thing." And then oddly enough, 2007, Shane Gwaltney was percussion caption head. So we had like this whole Mystique kind of WGI influence. And then in 2008, it folded. So womp womp. But it was fun while it lasted. And could I have, and at the time, did I often think, like, could I be somewhere better? Could I get a ring? Could I, get a medal? Could I march at night, at finals? Yeah, but looking back on it now, it was such a just a wonderful experience of being a part of something that, you knew you were helping build, and that every day that you went to rehearsal, you were helping build the future of that organization.
That's what's up.
Yeah, dude.
What's some of your favorite DCI shows of all time?
Oh my goodness. Cabaret Voltaire, Blue Devils.
Uh-oh.
That show was like, yeah, guys, I'm weird. Like,
I like that show too, man. It's like one of mine, yeah.
I liked it once I knew what it was about.
Once you read the research paper that goes with it.
Did you Google search it?
But I can't tell you how many orchestral pieces I've found because of Phantom Regiment. How many obscure French art movements like Dada I found. But yeah, and that's the thing I like about Blue Devil shows too, man, is like they're a challenge to you to learn and grow. Like, okay, you're putting out your thing, Scott Chandler's come up with this awesome idea. Okay, let me learn more about this, and then I'm going to go in and take the product in. Phantom Phantom Regiments Into the Light, 2010. My seat partner from Southwind was the soloist, the flugelhorn, that year. And, Into the Light was Myron Rosander, who had been at Vanguard and then came to Regiment with Rick Valenzuela and that whole crew whenever they came over. That show was actually about Myron dying from cancer. He'd been diagnosed with cancer. And so Into the Light was basically Myron's,
Oh wow.
this is it. Yeah, right. There's levels to this, man. Be humble. Shout out Kendrick. But yeah, so 10 Regiment. Man, some of the Bluecoat stuff lately has been really hip. The riffs and revelations, whenever you start digging into some of that Brad Maldau music and things like, and that's the thing that I don't think people take enough of an opportunity to do with what the top level groups are doing is, get in that space, take their repertoire and go listen to it, man. And just, you can find, like you guys did, the Thank You Scientist from the Jagged Line show, right? You guys did some of that, like the Frank Zappa, and that's another one of my favorite shows, even though it was disastrously hard to clean with those hats and all that stuff and moving in and out of the stage. But like the stuff that they were doing with the effects pedals with the trumpets in that Frank Zappa Zombie Wolf, like, dude, like, and that's the thing is, every generation of drum corps should do two things. Okay, here we go. Strap in, folks. It should ruin drum corps for the generation before it.
Oh,
okay?
Preach.
And it should ensure and innovate for the generation after it. Okay? So, I mean, that's the thing. Like, whenever I hear people hating on a group that's doing something innovative or hip, I'm like, good. Check. That's what we want. Like,
People ain't ready for that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, we need to, because like we talked about previously, man, like the world around kids is changing. Old school drum corps though, early 2000 Cavaliers, going back even further. Some of those scout shows were really hot in the late 90s. The Pirates of Lake Mendota. Then Drum Corps Fans Dream, right? Like that was fire. A lot of our staff at Southwind, whenever I was there, the Viz staff were all dudes that had marched Madison 95, 96, 97. And then Star, of course, right? Like Star 91 was absolutely groundbreaking. But that's the thing I said, right? Star 91, a cat that marched Anaheim Kingsmen in the late 70s, was like yelling at a cloud saying, "Get off my lawn." But then 7 through now Crown is here because of Star, right? So I'm really excited to see as Bluecoats continue to innovate, and BD and Boston, and now that Keith Potter's back at Crown, what they'll do now, like what that sets us up for in the future as far as the activity. I asked Michael Cesario once. Michael Cesario was, program coordinator for the cadets back in the 80s. Whenever they were just, nailing it, picking kids up off the street corners in New York and Manhattan and putting them on a bus and teaching them how to play a trumpet, I asked him one time at Music for All's camp, I was like, so what's next? And I'm thinking like, he's going to give me like some big, like long-winded explanation. And he looked at me and he said, I don't know. I haven't created it yet.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, man. But yeah, so favorite drum corps shows, like if I'm going to put one on right now and listen to it, probably Riffs and Revelations. That show was dope. So good, man.
Yeah, the Bluecoats are kind of remind me of Blue Devils, not afraid to take risk.
Word.
And Boston is starting to do that from a technical difficulty standpoint.
Yeah.
And going after it. And there's going to be somebody that comes along that will mimic one of those, or two or more of those, and take the best of those worlds and make it their own, and it's going to be really, really cool to watch.
But I think
Vanguard.
going back to Vanguard, man, like they're doing it, and they've got a lot of the thing is, man, it's just all the people that are creating these things are just so intelligent and so smart, and then whenever they find a group that they want to be with, and then they're creating like Kevin LaBeouf, Kevin March Crown with Matt Harloff, and then Todd at Cavs, and then now he's at Bluecoats, and it's just that kind of like star. Matt Harloff went to Crown, Kevin LaBeouf was under Matt, and then Matt made sure that the next generation of drum corps happened with Kevin LaBeouf now at Bluecoats, So it's just, like you said, I do think the thing that I enjoy the most about drum corps right now is that everybody is being genuinely themselves. And I think that's a big lesson that we could all learn in our sphere in high school band world is just do what you do. And, like this year with Blue Devils, Variations on a Gathering, I mean, the placement maybe wasn't what they I know that they don't ever set out for a placement, but for us looking from the outside in, it's like, oh man, they're where they are and they've been first or second. Well, I've talked to people that were a part of that and they don't care. They're like, oh, well, we did us. We did a production that was Blue Devils, and every Blue Devil before us can look at that and see themselves in it. And every Blue Devil after us will be able to look back and hopefully try and make a production that we can see ourselves in one day.
Yeah.
If anything, I've
405 next year, but
right.
I think the woodwinds are coming, boys.
You think so?
Yeah.
I do. Because I just think that it is, it's a sound palette. It's a flavor that you can't get any other way. Whenever George Hopkins suggested that back in the early 2000s, he had a pretty solid model. He was like, hey, give me, make the number like what, 175 total membership, and that would just be another bus, and just have it be full of woodwinds. And from a sustainability standpoint for drum corps in itself,
that's going to be it right there. I think that's going to be the push because of that. Yeah,
those are more students that are going to be able to be involved in the activity, paying fees, more mamas, granddaddies, aunties, uncles coming to watch shows, paying for tickets, like. Yeah, I mean,
it's going to change a lot because the design has got to accommodate them as well.
Word.
So now groups are going to have to design to feature them or put them in drill, however this goes, however many you got, or whatever it is. So everything is one of those things that we constantly, or at least I constantly keep saying is stuff's going to evolve, good or bad.
Evolve or die.
And it has to.
Yeah.
It has to. In some way, it has to, whether you're going to like it or not.
Dude, man, 2005, I was walking around World Championships in Foxborough, and there were people, like, I remember seeing like 50 shirts that said, keep it unplugged, right? Like, that was 20 years ago. Yeah. And look where we are now. Like, those people would be like, saying their rosary and needing a young priest and an old priest if they saw what we were doing now. Like, but
they're learning how to use an iPhone just so they can make comments.
Amen. Yeah.
They wouldn't be able to get into Lucas Oil because it requires mobile ticketing.
Yeah.
Cashless venue. Cash is king. Yeah.
They're not giving us pennies anymore. They're stealing our money.
Yeah, we bring that up at least 2 or 3 times a year. Just how
where are the plumes?
This how things have changed, and we'll from a financial standpoint, we'll figure it out. At some point, these companies are going to outprice themselves, and people are just going to be like, well, we just won't use it, and people will get smarter about how they design shows.
Well, hell, Vanguard showed you 2 years ago.
For the past 2 years,
like
they had very minimum props this year.
Yeah.
What if you've looked at BOA Grand National Finals, like the static uniform is coming back. Like the haps are coming back.
Yeah, I
You
noticed
know,
a lot of
it's
groups. Yeah,
that just
yeah.
wear like their normal uniform and hey, we're gonna play our butts off and march really well, and that's gonna carry the show. You know,
The pendulum always swings back.
word.
It always swings back. If it ever gets too extreme, it'll always bounce.
Elizabeth and I talked a lot about like we're anxious to see, you know, in our car rides to shows and stuff like that. Like we're anxious to see if things actually, in a way, they like devolve. Like Jinko jeans are coming back, man.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
I would have killed for a pair of Jinkos in elementary school, and now they're fire. But like so. Are we going to take a step back? Like Cedric kind of said, like, is the pendulum going to swing and which way is it swinging? But
Well,
at the end of the, yeah,
go ahead. Sorry. No, you finish.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, man, it's just about music education. And if we get too far away from like drum corps is, to me now, your top world class drum corps are becoming very, very much Broadway esque groups traveling the country, okay, with amazing educators, with amazing students. So we can't try and apply all of that to what we do in the high school world. Now, pedagogically, like I'm always looking up like what warm-ups are they doing? What mouthpieces are they playing? What Viz things? Got to give a shout out to Stride TV. If you guys haven't checked out Stride TV, you're missing out.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It is Michael Rosales and all these people on there like teaching, and we're using that with our wins group. I'm hoping it's going to pay off. I think it will. But we'll see. But the thing is, like, yeah, imitation's the highest form of flattery, but at a certain point, you have to realize that what these groups are doing with unlimited budgets, the best teachers and the best performers in the world, you're not going to be able to emulate all of that. You need to find what you can do where you are and make it fit your students, because there are great things that you can pull into what you do.
Yeah. It's good teaching is good teaching, period.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Like budget has nothing to do with if your staff can teach and if your kids can absorb that from them.
That's the thing. It's like you just can't. Like you're just saying, like a lot of times people just like to try to copy paste of what they see instead of trying to say, well, this is going to work for my group A, B, C. This would be great if we could do this, but this is not feasible for us right now. And I think it goes back to what we were saying, like sustainability, not just like DCI, but like high school groups and stuff like that. Like, I mean, you got to find where your best bang for your buck is going to be. So like, you can't try to do everything that everyone else does, because it's never going to happen.
No.
Yeah.
I think
You're not those groups.
Yeah.
I think you're getting lost in the pot or the void of the sole purpose of everything that any group ever does is just to win. And win becomes such a high dynamic. It's just like, we got to do this if we want to win. We got to do this if we want to win. This, and this. And I'm glad. Like I mean, I don't know what the future of SCV will do, but they go out with such minimalistic stuff and they stomp holes in everybody.
It just comes down to playing and marching.
It's a
like,
wrap.
Like
they leave you to the point to where you bet not mess up nothing.
Well, yeah,
Because
it's
they're gonna top you, and they're gonna top you with nothing on the field.
my wife talks about their show this past year, and a lot of people feel this way. Like, I loved it because I'm weird, but like it's they're performing it at such a high level. The excellence is so
From
high.
the first note.
The first time I saw that show, I was
First
like,
note.
Bluecoats and Boston are in trouble. Like, I was like, they better bring it. Of course, they did, but I was just like,
They couldn't
somebody
slap.
slip up. SEV
I think it's a really
slap.
funny. What I like about that show is that they, with the avant-garde kind of idea, they talk about like the design and stuff, but like they're doing stuff that is like, well, we all know avant-garde is like when they're like visual goes here, but it's gonna be something a little bit different than what they have. But like, I think it's kind of not ironic, but like what was avant-garde about that show is that it was the exact opposite of what you usually see on the field nowadays, right? The props, the sounds, and all this stuff going on there, and it's not there. Like that right now is avant-garde, was just kind of funny to me. Like, going back
Well, dude, listening to that show and then like thinking, like as a teacher, like if I were teaching it, like man, like trying to line up some of those attacks, some of those
Insane.
entrances, like just
Insanity.
and just the individual responsibility that you put on the performer is
Yep.
parallel. And I think that it's hard. It's as a judge, it's hard not to reward that. Like what you're asking them to do. The demands that you're putting on them, both geographically, I mean, it's not enough that they're trying to line up this attack, but they're 30 yards apart. They're coming in cold, like, oh, that's awesome.
They kind of did some of the stuff you was talking about, like you was talking about with the genes coming back and this kind of this or that. Like they're like a lot of people didn't recognize at first that a lot of the stuff and the sounds and stuff you hear, they make those things.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like they still have sound samples and this, that, and other, but a majority of it, they built these things that you hear, and it's like, it makes you wonder, like, how much money did they save for something else because they did that,
right?
So,
I mean, and that's the thing too. And I want everybody that's listening, understand that like at the end of the day, the person that decides and that knows better than anybody what's best for your program is you. So if you feel like, putting resources into how you're set, design is done, the uniforms that your students are in. If you feel like that is something that you value and that you think is a big part of what your program does, then do it. Do what you think. Don't take any of this as, oh, you shouldn't do it.
no,
Yeah, but like, yeah, do what you feel is best for your program. And whatever you do, though, like we talked about with Vanguard, if you decide to do it and make it very minimal, like the Vagabond show, then you've got to make sure that you do it better. You do you better than anybody else can.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That part.
You have to be the best version of yourself.
Word. Mm-hmm. What else you got? You got anything else? I mean, we're only coming up on 3 hours. I'm just getting, I'm just getting warmed up, baby.
Well, I already know we could talk for 7 hours.
Right.
But we also have to go teach children in the morning.
You got sick days?
I do.
We just established that, so.
Don't want to use them.
Like they teach themselves.
He had a run rehearsal. I was saying he was not here one of the day. He had a run rehearsal. So we just sat there and.
Dude, how powerful is that, though, Cedric? Yeah. That you were able, like, that you've empowered your students, that you've built a culture, that doesn't revolve around Cedric Lavelle. You know what I mean? Like, that the students feel ownership. You've trained them, how to do things, and they're bought into what you do. So, yeah, if you're not there, the ship keeps rowing. They keep going. That's awesome, man. Kudos.
It's going to be there without me whenever I'm done. So
right,
that's the way I kind of look at it. Like I said, man, the kids, they drive the bus. We might be the GPS, but ultimately those kids drive the bus.
They drive it, but we get out and we have to push it whenever it breaks down. Yeah,
I will scare them from time to time. I'll kind of leave with this, but like I'll say, what is keeping you from when I put you on stage and I count you off for you just to not play? Mm-hmm. Like there's what could I do? And they're like, huh? I was like, no, please don't do that. But seriously, like it's just because everybody's like, well, band kids want to be in band. Like, no, I make kids want to be in band. Mm-hmm. Like you should make kids want to do math. You should make kids want to do social studies. You should make kids and I got kids that don't want to be in band. Like I that's just what it is. I said, but it's something that I do that they want to do it and they work and they do what they're supposed to do it. And I was like, because I tell them all the time, like I wanted to be a math teacher. Really, that was what I wanted to do. Didn't turn out that way, but it worked out fine. But I was just like, I would hope that if I was a math teacher, I would make kids want to come and do math every day.
Word.
Like, so, it's that relationship between the students and the teachers, and just building that culture of like, hey, we're in this together,
dude. Yeah.
So, man, you got any final remarks?
Man, you guys keep doing what you're doing, and I just want to encourage everybody to continue to find podcasts like on the Back Hash or any other podcasts that you feel like can lift you up and help you be a better version of you for your students, and help you be a better teacher, better person, better whatever. And let's not gatekeep. Let's share all the things. Let's iron sharpens iron. So let's if we find something great that's helping or benefiting our students, man, let's get that out there to others and help benefit other people's students. Because at the end of the day, it's let's not go to contest and turn our nose up at our friends that we talk to every other day of the week. It's not about that. And whenever we make it about that, it's about us, not about the students. So, man, every day, just try and make a kid's day and try and be the person that they need you to be in that moment. And then be okay with yourself if you weren't. Have some grace with yourself. Go home, do whatever you do to de-stress or to find your center, and come back, and every day is a new day,
Yes,
and that's it, man. But you guys keep on rocking, and proud of you guys, and hope that people will continue to find this great resource and this great gym that you guys have created for our activity, because it's not it's not all serious, and it's okay to laugh and joke and cut up and to show some of your personality. And I think that's what makes this podcast and this endeavor that you guys are on so genuine, is that you guys are you're being your vlogs, you're doing shaky cam and doing, all that.
That's shaky.
Yeah,
That's just me, man. That's just
dude. That 1A vlog was like the Blair Witch Project,
right?
But
listen, it was a Blair Witch Project for about 2 hours.
The car. Oh man.
Yeah, dude. I heard Cedric go, "Where's the map? We dropped the map."
I was on the bus.
Yeah,
He was on his own adventure, man.
Yeah, we were on a different adventure.
But I think that's
we were going through Snake Church country and everything.
But I'm telling you, that's the thing that our students and that people buy into, is whenever you are genuinely you. And like Cedric said and William said, man, like they can smell a fraud,
Mm-hmm.
They can. So just be who you are. And if you catch yourself being something, I'm the worst Lincoln Rowe whenever I'm trying to be somebody else.
Dang.
Amen.
So that's my big takeaway for everybody. So yeah.
Oh, much appreciated. And
yeah, man,
like you say, he's got his endeavors happening. So
yeah,
check out ADHD Man Director.
Yeah,
he's got podcasts, he's got Facebook pages and stuff like that. So check him out. He's going to be doing some good stuff with that, and that's that'll be another resource for you, especially if you are dealing with one of the many mental issues that could plague us. But they're just things that we have to learn how to overcome and how to work through it.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And we have to accept them as part of us. And that's what makes us the people that those in our orbit love, is that genuine who you are. Because if somebody really, like your students, your spouse, your family, they accept you regardless of your faults. Yep. Your flaws make you who they have fallen in love with. Cedric, your flaws make you, who those kids are going to be there on a Wednesday, doing, chicken in a roll or doing green scales for the 30th time, because you're genuinely you.
It's like, no, literally.
Word. Here we go. Right hand check.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not a game. So. Well, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You can also listen to us on Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify. Make sure you hit like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let us know what you think about stuff. We're going to have Lincoln back again for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Probably try to do a little mid-season WJ update.
Ooh, Lord,
Talk
yeah.
about where we're going and what we're doing and all that good stuff. Because it's going to be a banger of a season for both of us, I think.
Definitely. We're going to make it happen.
WGI finna be nasty.
Can't
I need it to be gross. There's going to be some mad groups out there, and I can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
That part. Chris, Zach, Will, y'all got anything?
Nope.
Good stuff,
man.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, well,
all
it's
right.
been another episode of On the Back Hash. And yeah, it's gonna be great. So good luck to everybody in Kentucky trying out for All-State this weekend.
Yeah,
Yes.
Great.
All right. See you guys. Have a good night.
All right.
Oh,
he gone. He just peaced out on us, man. He's out.
What?
Done.
Out.
Done.
Boom.
He out.
I forgot to tell him just to hang out.
That's all. That's all I said.
For Lincoln, Chris, Jack, Will, my name is Ted. This has been another episode of On the Back Half. You guys see you guys later. We are
That's out.
out.